Hi everyone, it's Sam here from Sample Designs. Today I'd like to share with you my Circus journal that I've made for the design team for the Graphics Fairy for May. So I've gone with a circus theme. I've always really wanted to make it a circus journal, and this one is all about the Parisian circuses in the 1800s sort of period. So the carcass of my journal is an old French book, and I picked this one particularly because of the reds, obviously to go with the circus theme. It was actually quite a thin book, so I used the technique that Heather from Ruby and Pearl posted on the Graphics Fairy tutorial part of the website, so you can actually learn how to extend the spine of the book. So I've done that, and then I've added some really nice red trim. And on the front, this is an image that I found off the website of the silhouette of the elephant. And I just used it on top of, I laid it on top of one of the little, it sort of looks like a cabinet card image from the typeset bundle. I've used this bundle quite a few times in this journal, and I've really enjoyed using it. So just because it says the typesetter doesn't mean, it has to be that theme. This has worked really beautifully with my circus theme, as I'll show you throughout the journal. So I've just laid it with some coffee dyed parchment, some French document, and then this is part of one of the pre-made papers in the Dazzling Circus bundle. This is what I've used throughout the journal. There are two different circus bundles on the premium membership site, but I focused more on this one because I really liked the colours and I thought they looked very French. And also I really like the fact that most of these images are already cut out for you. So if you want to digitally add it onto something, you don't have to edit any of the white background or anything. You can just drop it on top. All these make a perfect fussy cut as well if you didn't want to do it digitally. So I've just wrapped the journal with some really lovely red cord. So as we go into the journal, I've left the inside as it was originally. I've used some old linens with the extension of the spine. This again is one of the pre-made background pieces, so there's several different colour schemes that you can choose, and these are the ones that I picked because I really love these colours. So I've tried to continue sort of the reds and the yellows throughout this journal. So on the front here, from the Dazzling Circus set, I've used this image here, which I've digitally layered on top of this background. And then another set that I've used throughout this journal is the Vintage Paris set. Now I chose this one because it has lots of these little transfers, again with a white back, there's no background on them, so you don't have to delete the white background, and you can digitally add onto any of your ephemera pieces. So I've just plopped that on top and plopped that on top, and there's my front cover. On the inside of the journal, I've used some of the newsprint. This is another background sheet from one of the ephemera's bundles on the website. I've created a little envelope there, and I've created it as a tuck in the back, so I've only glued 3 sides. So in the back here, I found a few pictures on Pinterest that I've used throughout the journal. And I've taken this image off Pinterest, and I've used the mini ephemera bundle, which has these really nice cabinet cards, which have already got the aperture cut out for you. So I digitally layered that on top of my photograph. Again, you could cut these out individually and then stick them on top if you wanted to fussy cut them yourself. So I've made that look like a cabinet card, and I've just backed that with some music paper. This is a ringleader image that I found off the free website again. I just love this image, and it's French as well. And I've just done a bit of stamping on the back there. This is, I'm not really sure what this is actually. It's out of my personal collection of French ephemera, and I purely picked it because it was red. Like I said, I have no idea what it's for, but it kind of matched the journal. This is a French invoice. So I've just printed that onto coffee dyed paper, and then I've just distressed the edge with some distress ink. So that pops into there. And then again, this is out of my personal collection as well. I think it's like a ticket for a drink or something. So I think it's just like some sort of ticket for a beverage. So with the envelope, I have left it to open, so you could use it as a journaling space in there. Just done a little bit of stamping, as you can see on the bottom, and then I've added another picture that I found off Pinterest, and just pop that in there. So this is basically just stuck on the bottom, and the idea is that you use it as a clip to close your envelope. So moving on, when I was studying art at school, I studied Toulouse-Lautrec, and he was famous for capturing a lot of circuses going on in Paris in the sort of 1800s time. And this is one of his famous pictures. I've typed it on the back here with my typewriter just so you have the reference there. So Henry Toulouse-Lautrec, and this is at the Circus Fernando in between 1887 and 88. This is one of the 3 full-time circuses that were there in Paris in that period of time. It was a full-time indoor one, and it was known for its equestrian stunts and like its animal trained acts. So I thought that was really interesting. So piece of history there, and like I said, I think that's really cool with the information on the back. So I just did that with my typewriter. And then this is an envelope that again is out my personal stash, and the reason why I chose this envelope is because it said Toulouse. So obviously that had to go with Toulouse-Lautrec, and it just so happens to fit my little card in there. So that was a happy accident. So moving on, I've used again some of this background paper, which I really loved, and I've pieced it alongside of one of these music sheet papers. I think it's from the antique sheet music paper, and it was this one here. And I just liked how it was really sort of scribbled and looked really old. So I've pieced some of the background paper with the actual music sheet here. You can see the rest of it there. And then I found another image of this elephant and these little children here. I just love that image. And I've backed this again with some more of that decorative paper out of the Dazzling Circus collection. So going on the elephant theme for this page, I've used the elephant again that comes with the Dazzling Circus bundle, and I've put that onto some old paper, and then I've just typed Le Grand Spectacle. Hopefully I didn't butcher the French accent too much then, but I wanted to try and add some of my own words. So I was looking at sort of old circus posters on the internet and seeing what words that I could pick out to add my own sort of phrases and things throughout the journal. So next I've got a flip out. Now this is some more French ephemera off of the website, and then I've added this really pretty image here, and of course it says Circus on it, from the Dazzling Circus collection again. I've put some washi tape down the side and I've made it sort of a flip out. And I don't know if you can see, but I've actually added some gold ink around the edge, which I got this idea from Heather from Ruby and Pearl. And I've just swiped it with a gold ink pad around the edge just to give it that little bit of glam. Hopefully you can see that on the camera. So then this flips out and you've got writing space here and here. And then this is out of my personal collection, and you know when you go to Disney or something like that and you go around collecting all the autographs of all the characters and stuff? Well, it got me thinking, I wonder if, you know, say for instance, this was a famous actress in the circus, and, you know, you might go up to her and ask for her autograph. Who knows? I don't know if they did that back in that time period, but this looked like someone's obviously been practicing their signature or something. I don't know if it was a child or I don't know, but it reminded me of collecting autographs from Disney when I went there as a kid. So I just thought that was a nice piece of ephemera to add inside the journal. And then, like I said, this is one of the, I think this was an image from the free website. If it wasn't, it was Pinterest. I can't remember. And again, I've added it into one of the mini ephemera cabinet cards, and it was this one up here. And I chose this one in particular because it says Paris on the top. So I just digitally added that inside and then printed it off. Then on the back, I've just put on some ledger paper, and I've used some stencil with the Harlequin because that's very sort of circusy looking, and then I just stamped a date along the back. So that just sits in this little pocket here with this trim, which I thought was, it reminded me of something that, you know, maybe this was part of her costume with that little frill to it. So I thought that was really pretty, and that's what I topped off this little pocket at the side. And then I've got some sequins as well. I can imagine, you know, these costumes having some really pretty, you know, sequins and embroidery to them. So I wanted to kind of mimic that in the trims that I chose for this journal. So onto the next page is another piece of that newspaper, French newspaper. And then I've used the same stencil again and just added a little bit of detail. And then this is that paper again from the Dazzling Circus collection. And this I've just printed onto vellum just as a little bit of interest. You can see the next image peering through, which I thought was quite fun. And then we have this lady here, which I love the colours. I loved her outfit. I found this off the free website again, and I've just added it. Actually, I think it already came with this on, if I remember correctly. It already had the cabinet card around it. And then on the reverse, I've just done some light stamping. I added some vintage script, and I've just stamped a date on the back. So you got all this space here for journaling. Now this is actually from the, let me find it, the typewriter set. Now you can't really see it from this image, but there's a few backgrounds here which look really, really old. And I chose this one in particular because it made the pages look quite sort of rusty looking. So I used that quite a few times just to print on the back of any journal cards that I made, just so it had that really authentic look to it. And then onto this page, I've used the mini French ephemera collection again, and this has a little program card here that I've used. And I just thought, well, we'll imagine it's like a circus program. So it's just like got all the times and things. So I thought that went quite well with this journal. And then on this side here, I've got some vintage script, French script with a little bow. I've made a little pocket here. And then this is a little image that I found, and has these little clowns either side. And I thought, you know, maybe you can add a picture here, or you can use it as some extra journaling space. And then I thought these ladies were quite cute, dressed up with a pirouette style. And again, I've added this into one of the cabinet cards. And then on the reverse, I've just put on some of the French newspaper backing paper. A little bit of stamping. And then this is a one of the cabinet cards off one of the French bundle collections. I can't remember which one now, but it's a cabinet card, and I picked this one because it says Parisian. Obviously, I'm going with the Paris theme as well as Circus. So I just digitally added that to one of the backing sheets and faded it slightly, just so it you could write over the top of it if you wanted to. And then this was a happy accident. So I was printing some of this Harlequin paper, and I wanted to have this newspaper on the opposite side. And of course, being me, I forgot to turn the paper over in the printer. And what I ended up with was the newsprint on top of the Harlequin. And I actually really liked how it came out. So it was a happy accident, that one. So this I made into an envelope, and then I did turn it around and print the correct one on the reverse. And then in here, I've just added another piece of artwork that I found in that sort of period time again. And I just thought it was a really pretty picture of this lady here looking really elegant. And then on the reverse, I've just stamped a bow and some script, and then a little number stamp there. So that's just like a bit of a floating envelope that just sits in there. And then this is the centre of my first signature. So I took this same image that I used on the front. So this was a black silhouette, and I made it lighter digitally, so you got a really faded version. And for some reason, this page really reminds me of Dumbo, the film. So I added it onto some textured paper, a digital textured paper, and then I took the curtains and layered that over the top. And then I took one of the transfers from the Vintage Paris collection. So it was a little Paris address. Layered that down here. And then I also found another one. I think it was off the free website, this one. I can't remember. But basically that translates to welcome in French. So I actually thought that worked out really well. And it kind of looks like an autograph as well. So we'll imagine that's Dumbo in French or something. So onto the next page, I've got some vintage French music sheet paper. And then I found this picture on the internet of these ladies on the horses. Like I said, that the Fernando's Circus in France was well known for its equestrian. So I imagined that's where it came from. Then I've used the elephant again, and I've digitally added this to a piece of one of the French ephemeras. And again, I chose this because obviously it says Paris on it. And that makes a nice little writing sheet. This was printed onto tea-dyed paper, just to give it that really authentic look. And I've distressed it around the edges as well. That just is a little upward tuck-in there. And then I've added some more stamping on some tea-dyed lined paper. And then this page I really like, because I really like how this ruffle came out. So on the left hand side, I've just added some more of that Harlequin paper. I've done a little bit of stamping. And then in here, I've taken this lovely lady, again from the Dazzling Circus collection, and I've made her black and white and put that welcome image over the top of her. And I thought maybe this is like something that she might have handed out for like giving an autograph or something. And I'll just back that onto tea-dyed paper and then added a little pull tab there. And then there's a photograph here that I found on the internet of all these lovely, glamorous, circusy type people. I thought that was really cool. And then this is also from the Dazzling Circus collection. You can use these pre-made journal cards, and I just basically chose the one that was here and I trimmed it down to fit in my pocket. Oh, and this is what I mean when I've when I've printed a journal card, on the reverse you can just about see that faded background, just to give it that really authentic feel to it. So they just pop into there. And then this is a authentic French postcard. I have no idea what it's about, but I really like this lady and I thought it was really pretty. And then I added this gorgeous sari silk down the side there and just sewed down the middle. And then that's the reverse of it. I've got some blank music sheet paper there, so you can do lots of writing on there. On this side, I've made a little journal card, so I've used the giraffe out of the Dazzling Circus set, and then I've superimposed that onto the again, that cabinet card that says Parisian on it. So it's a nice little tag, and I've just put some music sheet paper on the reverse. So here's the opposite side of the vellum harlequin, and this is basically a little flip up to do some journaling on. It just sits over the top of the page. Now this is actually from, let me find it, there's a collection called the French Blue Signs, and here's one of the collage sheets that you can print off that they've been pre-made. I've used a few of these in the journal, and I just really liked this red one. And at first thought, I thought it said Circus, but it actually says Chorus. But we'll pretend it says Circus. And yeah, it kind of looked like a sort of like an opera house or something like that at the top, and I thought that worked really well on the journal. And then inside, obviously, you can do your journaling, and then I've just stamped on the bottom there. So that just sits on the top of this page, and I've just put a little paper clip on there to keep it in place. Okay, so on to the next one. I've used another image, and I've just basically added that on top of some French ephemera from one of the bundles, and again I chose this because it says Paris. And I love this image of this ballerina with the clown. I love the pop of yellow. And then in here I found another picture, and then this has been again added to one of the cabinet cards, and I've just backed it with some sort of marbled French paper that I found on the website. And then on this page, again, this is one of the pre-made journal cards that you can download. Can't find it now. But there's basically some journal cards that have been left with a blank middle inside, and so I've just added a little bit of stamping there, and I've gone around the edge with like a orangey sort of gold thread, and it's just a nice little journal spot. And then another image that I found on the internet, these two little cuties, and then I've put it in the cabinet card again, done some stamping on the back. And then this is something that was out of my French ephemera again, and I just kind of picked it because it was red. And then on this side, on the Vintage Paris collection, so there was this black and white image, but I wanted an image that was portrait rather than landscape. So when I looked at this one, I decided to make it into a black and white postcard. So I just digitally did that on Photoshop, just changed it to a black and white image. And then I added the Paris transfer across the top of it. So I've sewn around the back there, and then this is actually a little pocket. And in here, this is from the other Circus bundle collection, and it's called the Vintage Circus. Now, I didn't use that particular bundle, but I used some of the pre-made printables, part of that collection, and this is some of them that I printed out. And I just really liked the images, although they're not French, but I just really liked the images. And then I printed that textured background as well to give it an authentic feel. So they just pop into there. And again, some more sort of rich gold trims that I added. Okay, so on to the next page. I've used like a restaurant menu. This is from the Vintage Paris collection again. So this is the original image with the menu, but you can also just use like a border of a menu. So I just added that onto some grunged paper that was on one of the bundles. And then here I found, even though it's not the same time period, this is the 1953, it's a lady selling ice creams, and I just thought that went really well with obviously the circus theme. So it's obviously a bit later in the date, but I just really like the image. So I've stuck that down with a bit of washi, and this is actually like a little flip. So you can do some journaling in there. And then this is the other half of the music sheet that I was using. So you can do lots of journaling in there as well. And then onto this one. Again, I've used this image from the Dazzling Circus. Where is she? This one here. I've added her onto some red decorative paper. I think it's from the red and pink bundle or something similar to that name. And I just put it onto a really, just to give it a pop of colour basically, make it really stand out. And I've glued this 3 ways so it's a little side pocket. Sorry if I keep going out of frame. I get too excited. And then I found some images, again on the Vintage Paris collection. And they've got loads of like images from, you know, the Arc de Triomphe and I forget what that one's called now. Then you got Notre Dame. So I added this one. I stamped a date across the top, and then I added a little tab there so you could easily pull it out of the side. Then onto this page we've got more of the pre-made decorative papers. I really like this one because of the pop of colour. And I really like them because they've got this really sort of aged, grainy look to them. So you don't have to do any distressing to them. It comes like that already. And then I added this little horse here. And then I found this swirl. I can't remember which bundle it was from now, but I added this swirl just to give it a little bit more glam. Then this is like it's like a frame of some sort that I found, and then I typed the Circus to Paris on it, and then I added that Paris transfer on the bottom as well. And then on this side, this is probably one of my favourite images that I found off the website. So it's actually from, it's like a merry-go-round. I think that's what you call them in America, I'm not sure. And I just love this image of these children on it. And I just did some stamping. More of that French dictionary newspaper or whatever it is. And that just flips open there. So lots of space there. You can add your own pictures. In here, I added a map of Paris. So you could be planning where the circuses are. And I gave that, basically to make it look really aged, I crumpled it up and distress it with just distress ink, and it picks up all the lumps and bumps just to give it that sort of really distressed look to it. So you can see it looks really sort of crinkly and aged. Then this is a French invoice. And then this is actually an authentic vintage poster of a circus from back in the day. I'm not sure the age of it, but I just really liked the image of it and I thought it was a bit of fun. Then here is another one of those French blue sign collage sheets. I've added this one. And again, I really like this one just because of the red on it. And this just swivels, so you could actually do some writing behind it if you wanted to. And I've just put that in there with a, what do you call them? I forgot what they're called now. You know what I mean. And then just tied it with a ribbon. Then on this side, I found this lady here, and I thought she looked very glamorous. And again, I put it into a cabinet card. Maybe this is like an autograph picture that she hands out, I don't know. Just did a bit of collage in there with some old French paper. And then this actually flips out, and it's another restaurant invoice. So I imagined it was a bit of a day trip if you were going to the circus back then, so you might have gone to the restaurant or something for food afterwards. Nice little family day out, maybe. And then on this side, I thought this image was really cool. It's an invoice, a French invoice for some curtains. So I imagine that was the curtains that, were part of the circus. And this is off the premium membership site as well. And I just thought that was really cool. An invoice for curtains. I mean, that screams circus to me. And then this is another image that I found off the internet, and it's like a black and white engraving, and it's one of the indoor circuses, and it says Paris on it as well. So I just printed that on tea-dyed paper and then aged that up, and that just sits on the edge of the fold out. And then on this side, this is again another little side pocket. This is made out of, it's out of my collection of French things. I have no idea what it is, but it had some red on it, so we chose that. And then in the background here, from the, what's it called again? From this typesetter set, in the pre-made section of it, there's these really cool collage sheets that I absolutely loved. I just love how random they are with all the different images on them. I mean, there's even a lady here that looks like she might be from the circus. There's a ticket as well. So I use them as a background sheet in the journal, so you can just see all this stuff going on. I absolutely love that. And then in there, I made a small journal card using that frame again, and then I added the curtains on the top, so you can add a picture in there if you wanted to, or journaling or whatever. Back that with some tea-dyed paper. There's an image of Notre Dame, and then this I actually printed the map image on the reverse, and then I made it as like a little notepad. So just some tea-dyed paper there, so you can add a few little notes if you wanted to, and then I just did Paris 1889 stamp on the reverse. Then this is an image that I found off the free website, I believe it was, and I added it onto some of this red sort of marbled effect paper, and I lightened it up so you can actually see through the red. So this is actually the box part of this image, and I thought it gave a nice like border around the edge, so maybe you could add a picture in there or something. You can journal on the reverse. Then, so back to the typewriter set. Again, this is another one of the images from there, and I love all the swirls. And I thought that looked quite circusy as well. You can't really see on here because the image is small, but it was this image here, and it's basically some sort of scroll work designs. And like I said, I just thought that looked quite fun. So this is the centre of the last signature, the second signature, and this is my sort of homage to the gypsy part of circus life. So in here, I found this girl, and I thought she looked a little bit gypsy. And I put it onto some of that decorative paper. These were just leftover scraps that I collaged onto a tag. Added some sari silk on the top. Did some stamping, and this is just some coffee dyed card. So that just sits in this glassine bag here. And then on the premium membership site, there is actually a collection for vintage gypsy style. So I didn't use all the images, but I used this image here because I thought she was really pretty and she was wearing red. And I found this playing card on the free website, so I added it onto there. So I imagined this was like one of her cards that she uses in her tarot or something like that. And again, I've added gold ink around the edge just to add a bit of glam. And then I've put some tea-dyed letter paper on the reverse and then stamped it. And then also from the Gypsy collection was this fortune teller advertisement. So I printed that off onto some more tea-dyed paper and really sort of grunged up the edges. So it's like an advert for maybe it's not an advert, maybe it's writing music paper. But I just really like that. And then you can obviously do the journaling on the reverse. So that just slots into there. And then this is from the mini French ephemera, and it's like a refreshment sort of tab. So I just stapled that onto there. I made a little pocket out of some of this leftover Happy Accident Harley Quinn newspaper, and all I did was just folded it over because I'd printed it on the back, and I just made it into a little pocket. And then in here, the other side of that collage paper from the typewriter collection, I added some French ephemera, and then these are from the vintage Circus bundle from the pre-made section, and you get this massive amount of tickets to use. So I printed them off, printed texture on the back and distressed them, and then they just slot in their little belly band there. Then onto this page is the opposite side of the curtain invoice. And then I added a little gold button with some sari silk trim. And then this is the image that I used from the vintage Paris set. So this is the one that's the landscape version. And also from the, where is it now? From the mini French ephemera, there's these little tiny stamps. So I actually took the stamps and changed them to like a red colour to match with my journal. And then I did a little bit of stamping over there, like a postage mark stamping. And then this image of the Eiffel Tower, I actually added a postcard over the top of it. So I faded this postcard to be able to see the Eiffel Tower in the background. So it gives it that really cool effect of like a faded writing over the top. And then I've just stitched around the edge and added more of that really fancy sort of trim, tutu trim I'm going to call it. And then on the reverse, it's got a little pocket here. I'll have to put something in there. And then a little bit of stamping. And that just floats there. Then on this page, I've got another image that I found off the internet, and I just really liked, again, the boys and the girls image. And that was actually taken in France as well. I know that. I just don't know what the date is. Then this is another one of them transfers that I found. And what I did was, to get this background, I scanned a piece of scrunched up paper. So I scanned that in, and that was the base of my journal, my journaling card. And then I put this, one of these transfers that I found off the free site, and just popped that on top. And then I just distressed the ink and made it all torn and give it a really distressed edge. And then printed on the back as well. Then on this side, there's some more really fancy sort of sequins and some embossed papers, just for a bit of interest. Then down here, this is actually off the free website again. I just like that because it obviously had a clown on it. And again, some more of the Harlequin papers. And then this was an image from the Dazzling Circus again of this man here with his lions. But I actually just took one line and his face just to really give it that bold image. And I put that on top of a French postcard. Then added a little bit of gold spotty washi tapes stitched around the edge. And then I've just collaged some papers on the reverse just for a bit of interest. And then that's a little corner tuck. Then this is the other side of that Paris map. And then this is a little image from the mini French ephemera. I've actually used this on the next page, and I'll show you how differently I've made it. So this is the image that I've used, and it just says Paris on it, and I just made it smaller to fit this tiny little tag in there. It's just got a little bit of paper script on it, so that fits in there. And then that same image I've used here. So I found this really cool image of this elephant off the free website, and I faded it on top of that same Paris card. So it's a faded version of it, but it says the Paris on it, which I really, really like the outcome of that one. So onto this side, this is some of the, again, some of the antique sheet music. Which one is it now? I think it was this one or this one. I really like making envelopes with these sheet music pieces, so just stress around the edge. And then the closure is this little photograph again of some people at the circus that I found. And then in here is all the images that I didn't use throughout the journal, so I thought maybe you wanted to add them. So look at these strong ladies picking each other up. This is like some sort of performance going on. That's actually French as well. Some children playing on a ride. And then you can't have a circus without a tattooed person as well, so that's a really cool image. And then this guy that makes me really anxious. This one I love because they're all wearing their hats and they're watching a puppet show. I just thought that was really sweet. And then this lady here with her lion, which I thought was really cool. So you can put them throughout the journal wherever you want to. And they just sit in here. And again, this is one of the ones that I just used to keep the envelope shut. Then on this side, again, I've added some gold ink, just running around the edge there just to make it pop. And then there's an image of this lady with her hippo. Oh, two ladies with a hippo, which I thought was quite fun. And then that just opens out as well. And then on this sheet is the happy accident paper. That's what we're going to call it. Some more of them pre-made journaling tags. Again, another journaling card that's pre-made for you, and I've just stitched around the edge for interest. And then again, this was out of my personal collection. I just really like the red and blue frame around it. Then onto this side, so like I said, you can't have the circus without a tattooed lady. So in this image, I've actually added her to one of the cabinet cards. And the background of this paper is again from the where is it? From the typewriter set, and it was this image here, and I thought that looked quite cool against the black. So she just sits onto that one. And then on the back here, I've just taken a frame and then added this circus lady. I've just faded her so you could actually do some journaling over the top there. And that is the journal. I have to admit, I really, really enjoyed making this journal. It's really fun, and I hope you've enjoyed the video today, and this will be available to buy on my Etsy shop. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.